All right, Shalom. I want to start by saying, call law, YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, Rakakadash. Double honors to the powers of Israel, aka the powers of Great Millstone, and peace and love to all the Akim. Continue to preach the truth and all truth and sincerity. All right, so real quick, it's an article, and this is from U.S. News and World Report. Now, it's a credible source because the same person that owns this owns the New York Daily News or some Daily News or some shit like that. You know what I mean? Some rat, Mortimer, whatever. But it says Trump. It says Trump and Vice President. It was Vance. Well, Vance. It said Trump and Vance, President and Vice President, says want more women to get pregnant. Here's how to do that. Now, for starters, the reason why people aren't having children like that is because, first off, having a child is too damn expensive. That's for one. Because it's not just having a child. You have to have shelter for the child, food for the child, clothing, and all the regular amenities that it takes you need to have a child. Right now, living in America especially, it's very expensive to do that. And people are already having trouble enough with one or two children, right? But it's funny because it just shows how counterproductive Esau really is. Because here it is, you want people to have more children, and yet you're not making life suitable or even was possible for people to just have multiple children. Because imagine having like more than 6 children in America right now, with the cost of food for one, the cost of gas, which you got to take the child care, school, college, all that. You want to have your children, like all this shit is expensive, and it's all a major fee. And that's why you have, and that, right now they're saying that birth rates is low in America and other parts of the world. But I just go to show how counterproductive Esau really is, because you want people to have more children, but you know it's mad expensive for childcare, home repair, everything it takes for you want, like, because when you have a child, you want to have everything right, or at least a little bit right. People can't even get a little, like, think about the cost of living alone. The cost of living, all those bills, the insurance, all that costs. All that is a payment at the end of the month or whatever, however it's worked out. And these devils know that. These devils know that it's mad expensive to have children right now. They know. But yeah, here it is. They want you to have more children, but yet you're not laying off of the burden of your bullshit taxes and all the other responsibilities that's put on people. And then on top of that, you send all the taxpayers' money to the fucking like them small hats. And now everybody's finding out that. And you got this full-blown war going on, or about to go on. So what is why would an American family have a child? Like, imagine getting a girl pregnant. Imagine you having sex with a girl today. What is it, June 28th? You have sex with a girl today. You finish inside her. 9 months later, you're supposed to have a baby, right? So imagine, with this whole shit going on, with all this Iran and small asses, Russia, China, all these nuclear talks. Imagine 9 months from now, because it's right now. That war that's been going on with Israel and Iran, they said it's only been for 12 days. And already the small heads is blown through hella money. They said it was like $725 million daily with all of their defense system and all that. But anyway, let me get back to the issue, because that goes part to the scriptures of what YAHAWASHI said when he said that this generation shall not pass away till all things be fulfilled. Now, prior to him saying that, he was talking about the wars, the rumors of wars. He was talking about all the things that's happening now. So where do you get off talking about, we got hella time left here? Even like, God forbid, but even if it's like 5 years. So within the 5, if it's 5, I'm just hypothetically speaking, if it's 5 years left till America's destroyed, 5 years was from 2020 to 2025, and look where we're at. So at that time, it's 5 years. So imagine, it's not going to be like, it's going to be 4 years of peace and happiness and prosperity. It's going to be 5 years of a decline, and then get to the worst. So now they talk about low birth rates. That means that people are reproducing like that. So what does that say for the future? All right. So and it's funny because they use this picture. I use it in a thumbnail, but they use this picture. It looks like it's people of color. If you look like it's people of color, because they would really want to have more slaves. Because look, when you think about it, if you think about generations, right? So the generation now of people, you have damn, I forgot the class, but I know, like, what, baby boomers or whatever the fuck. I think I'm a Gen. I think I'm a Gen X, and it's whatever. But so let's go. I don't know. I forget. Hold on. Matter of fact, let me see something. Nah, I'll go to that later. But so like right now, you have the oldest people on the earth. All right. So my grandparents were born in the 30s. And yeah, my grandparents was born in the 30s, and my grandmother was born in the 30s, and my grandfather was born in the early 40s. My grandmother was born in 1938, right? So right now, that generation of people, those are the oldest people on the earth presently. And then you have people like my parents who are in their 60s, and then you have people like the 60s, 50s, and I'm almost 40. So then it would be us, and then you would have these youngins, these YNs that they call them. So people in their 30s, early 30s, late 20s, and down. That's the younger generation. So if that generation, this is the generation to where like that's supposed to be the future. But what also they talk about in the future? They talk about what all this AI shit. They talk about the workforce being cut immensely. So, and when you really think like that's what people really don't think about when you think about the future. So if you take it's 2025, so you take a 10-year-old that's 10 now, 10 years from now will be 2035. They say within the next 5 years that all this AI, all this shit is going to be it. This is going to be the lane that everybody's going to play in, which ultimately is tying into what? The market of beasts. Because now they're also saying, well, what did I just see? It says why they want to cash in society. So this generation coming up, they're definitely gonna be used to cashes, because even us now, a lot of people to this present day, that adults in their 30s, early 30s, late to 20s, 30s, 40s, they're not really using cash like that. They're using cards. They're using online shopping. So it's already in the works to where when these kids get older, they're gonna be completely in a cashless society. And that's who they want to have more children, because the people like us and the older people, they're gonna die off. However longer we're here, like the people that's in the 80s, those are the people that's dying right now of like natural life or their natural life. So now Esau he still wants subjects. So that's why he said, yo, you gotta women need to start getting pregnant more. So I'm reading this article because I'm gonna read this article, but a lot of things in articles are tied into like working from home and all that shit. But it's all connected because it's all talk about like cultural differences, and it's talking about like why people aren't having children like that. All right. So it says, yeah, so this is from US News and World Report. And it says Trump and Vance want more women to get pregnant. Here's how to do that. So it says the Trump administration, alarmed by historically low birth rates, wants Americans to have more babies. White House officials are contemplating bestowing a national medal of motherhood on women who have 6 or more children, offering $5,000 baby bonuses after deliveries, and directing more federal transportation dollars to communities with higher than average marriage and birth rates. But who is a lot of people having babies? Those fucking so-called northern tribes. Well, not so-called northern tribes, so-called Hispanics and Latinos. They're the ones bringing a lot of babies. And those are the ones that they're getting rid of. Because these Edomites, they're not having children like that on booming rates. You know, so like when they talk about Americans need to have more babies, but it clearly in this picture, it looks like people of color. And then they talk about offering a national medal of motherhood. It says on women who have 6 or more children, offering $5,000 baby bonuses, $5,000 for each baby. Tell me that's not a racket, man. That sounds like a business. Because human commodity, man, human resources, slaves. All right. And it says, it says after deliveries and directing more federal transportation dollars to communities with higher than average marriage and birth rates. I mean, people are getting married but a lot of people aren't having children like that. Like they said the birth rates are low. It says historically low birth rates. So this is a historical thing. These are historical numbers. All right. And it says, but if President Trump and pronatalists in America are serious about instigating a baby boom, they should do something that would actually make a difference. Step 1 would be to rescind the federal government's return to office mandates and shred insulting, pointless initiatives like the so-called Show Up Act which means stopping home office work unproductive works productive problems. And it says Vice President J.D. Vance, who's been fixated on declining birth rates since before he was a senator, and other pronatalists are quick to blame women for being more focused on self-actualization or cats than motherhood, or for getting caught up in America's worship of work to the exclusion of family. But hold on, that's your fault, Esau. You don't want to get female liberation. You don't want equality. And now these women are on some, they don't want to have children no more. They want these careers. They want the different kind of life other than a stay-at-home wife and mother. That's Esau. And now you trying to renege on your plan because now people aren't having children like that. These women aren't having children like that. People are in relation. It's a lot of single people out here. We really think about like the actual amount of people that don't have children is alarming. And then when you go into the future generation, they don't talk about they don't want to have children. I'm talking about people like in their late teens, 20s. That's the future generations of America, if you like naturally. So if the future is not, they're not talking about having children. A lot of people don't have children already. Like, I don't have no children, and I'm almost 40. But I also know that I don't seek no continuity here. I don't want to raise a child here. My sole focus is to preach the word of Yahawah BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI. I'll have children in the kingdom, Lord willing. I'll be part of the elect. You have some of that. I think they said Apostle Tahar don't got no children, if I'm not mistaken. But who the fuck cares? The Lord said, if you don't have it here, He's gonna give you 100-fold in the kingdom to come. Just push this word, push this truth, push the name Yahawah BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI, push the downfall of this place. And you see the downfall of this place. Look at the downfall of their birth rates. They said historically low birth rates. But anyway, it says, or getting caught up in America's worship of work to the exclusion of family. What all of this culture war rhetoric obscures is that people's choices about their fertility should be their own, and that most people who want families want more children than they actually have. In an unforgiving, myopic way we've organized work, along with the lack of meaningful policies that support families, is a big reason why. So what? It's your fault, Esau, with your policies. The system you created, the society you created. The society you created caused these historically low birth rates. You think there's going to be low birth rates in the kingdom? Not even with the heathens. Because it's going to be a comfortable thing. It's going to go back to being a blessing on having children. Esau made having children right here, especially in America, a fucking curse. Especially within the last 20 years. Having a child now, and then now on top of that, now you got a World War III in our hands? Why would you want to bring a child into that? All right? It says that the decision to start or expand a family is intensely personal and shaped by a host of factors. But research in the last few years proves that when people have decent work, reasonable hours, and flexible jobs that give them more control over where, when, and how they work, making it easier to manage family duties, birth rates are higher. This is especially true for women who work in demanding professions that reward long hours and mandatory face time in the office. In other words, it says when work is flexible enough so that women can be ambitious and have the time and bandwidth to raise a family, they're more likely to give a try, which means they don't have that right now. You got all these career-driven women, all these independent women. They say they don't need no man, don't got no children. This is society. This is your brainchild, Esau. You've caused low birth rates on the earth, man. Just like you caused the whole destruction of the damn planet in the first place. To where people don't, especially in America, people don't want to repopulate. Because it's too damn expensive. All right? It says, indeed, research by Emma Zhang, a population scientist at Yale University, among others, found that the C19 emic produced an unexpected baby bump, especially among college-educated women in their early 30s who were more likely to be working from home. The C-era fertility boost was significantly larger for women who were working remotely during the emic than for women who were at home but did not have paid jobs. Zhang told me in the end. Hold on, say it again. So the CV era fertility boost was significantly larger for women who were working remotely during the emic than for women who were at home but did not have paid jobs. Zhang told me in an interview. So they say they want people to go back to work. So you're saying that these women that were working through the emic were the baby boom started, then for women that were at home with no paid job, and you want now sending them back to work. Because now, 5 years later, now look, the birth rates are now low again. People, because what? Everything's expensive. I can only imagine how much some Pampers, formula, childcare, doctor's visits, all that. Think about how much all that costs. And then they're talking about cutting a lot of things. They talk about cutting a lot of programs. All right, but continuing on, it says remote work isn't just for women. Plenty of research shows that men with flexible work arrangements are better able to share childcare and housework duties, which can reduce work-family conflict and boost fertility rates. One study found women with more involved partners were also more likely to have more children. But that's another thing. A lot of single women. And think about it. If you have more time to manage with your work and family, it will mentally, we can have more children. But now people are going back to what? Being consumed with work, because why? Everything is so expensive. And plus time is moving. And plus also too, you got a whole full plate. Like I said, you got to go back to this war going on. Because it's not like America is in its glory days, man. It's in its decline and it's on its way to its destruction. And people have a sense of that feeling like, yo, man, shit ain't right. So why then would you want to bring a child in something that's not right? Any day now, the war is going to get so intensified to where, like, yo, imagine having a newborn baby. And you got to remember Jacob's trouble, the actual plague that's going to come to America, the famines, the pestilence, people running up each other's houses for lack of bread, with lack of food shortages. And they talk about with this cashless society, and that's ultimately what they're gonna bring in the CHIP. But they talk about with this cashless society that you won't be able to even spend in certain areas if you're from a certain area. So we say your shit won't work. But that's a whole nother can of worms. But let me get a quick scripture real quick. Hold up. Bear with me. Matter of fact, I know where they at. Okay. It's slow as fuck. Come on, man. Hold up, bear with me. This just pissed me off. Oh my gosh, yo, what the hell? Okay, yeah. My Blue Letter Bible app is acting fugazi right now. Okay, here we go. New Testament. Let's go to Matthew first. Oh, forgot about this one. Hold up. Now, this is Matthew chapter 24, verse 19, and it says, and this is YAHAWASHI speaking, it says, and woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days, but those days are the last days, the days we're in right now. And when you go into the NLT, it says, how terrible it will be for pregnant women and for nursing mothers in those days. Hold up. Trump and Vance saying that they want more women to get pregnant. More women should get pregnant. This article, that is the spirit. This article came out on June 26th, which would have been that would have been Thursday. This article came out from the U.S. News and World Report that they want more women to get pregnant. It says Trump and Vance wants more women to get pregnant. But check out what YAHAWASHI said. In Matthew chapter 24, verse 20, I'm reading the NLT. It says, how terrible it will be for pregnant women and for nursing mothers in those days. The days we're living in right now. So it's a spirit going to, aside from all the bullshit with all this career driven and all these independent women, but the Lord has it to where like people aren't having children right now, and now these devils want people to have. They want women. They're saying they want women to get more pregnant. Here it is. They're fucking. They're raging. They're bringing in this war, but that you want more people to get pregnant. And the reason for people not getting pregnant is for the society that you created, well, they at least created, but through your fucking mouthpieces. All right. Where was it at? So now you jump down to verse 34. I'm gonna start at verse 33. So it says, now this is Matthew chapter 24, verse 33. Now remember in the earlier verse, he talks about the wars, rumors of wars, earthquakes, and all those things, the things that's happening at this very time. All right. So he says this in Matthew chapter 24, verse 33, and it's YAHAWASHI speaking. It says, so likewise ye, when ye shall see all these things, know that it is near, even at the doors. Now what things are he talking about again? Let's go to it. So this is the book of Matthew chapter 24, verse 3 now, and it says, and as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, tell us, when shall these things be, and what shall be the sign of thy coming and the end of the world? It says, and Yahushua answered and said unto them, take heed that no man deceive you, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am the Messiah, and shall deceive many. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. And when you go into the NLT, it says, Matthew 24 and 6, it says, and you will hear of wars and threats of wars. Now, what are you hearing right now? Wars and threats of wars. Immense amount of threats of wars. And it says, but don't panic. Yes, these things must take place, but the end won't follow immediately. Now, this is the NLT of Matthew 24 and 6. And in NLT in verse 7, it says, nation will go to war against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. There will be famines and earthquakes in many parts of the world. Now, you having earthquakes, famines. Hell, it's a famine over there, right over there in the Middle East, even though due to the war. But they're saying that there's a lot of starvation going on in Gaza right now due to this war from Amalek. All right? It says, but all this is only the first of the birth pains, with more to come. Then you will be arrested, persecuted, and killed. You will be hated all over the world because you are my followers. Now, this is how Shai talk about himself. He said, you will be taken out for being followers of me. And when you go to the regular King James, said, for my name's sake. You should be hated of all nations for my name's sake. That's about what? The prophets of Yahweh, BAHASHAM, Yahushai. That's the name. The name is YAHAWASHI. So you don't think that Trump, Vance, the elites, all these Edomites, all these other nations, you don't think that you think they loving this? You think they loving the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans pushing Yahweh, BAHASHAM, Yahushai right here on this very soil and other soils across the world? Why do you think the Lord is doing all this around the world? Because now the prophecy is coming to pass. Because why? The Lord has sent out his prophets to give the warning. And now those things that the prophets were warning about, now those things are coming to pass more and more. So now the prophets are just really reporting and filtering everything that's happening through the scriptures. Saying that, this applies to this, this applies to this, this goes with this goes with this. Ezekiel 38th chapter, Revelation the 18th chapter, Isaiah the 47th chapter. Babylon is fallen, it is fallen. These are all things that's taking place in real time. This is the reality. The thing about the scriptures are they're of reality and history. It goes back into history, and it also now going into the reality we're living in this present day. These are still prophecies. Past prophecies came to pass already, and now the future prophecies that the prophets warned about from back then. Back then, the times of Isaiah, the times of Ezekiel, the times of Daniel, the times of John, the disciples, Yahushua. He warned of the days we're living in right now. This we told when he said it should. What he said now. What's that verse 3? Oh, what verse was that? No, what do I have to? Oh, yeah. So in Matthew chapter 24, verse 19, I'm reading that in NLT. It says, for there were, it says, how terrible it will be for pregnant women and for nursing mothers in those days we live in right now. Because the things that Yahawashi spoke about in the earlier verses is happening now. That didn't happen back then. Remember, we're talking about 2,000 years ago this is written. When Yahawashi was on the scene, he's speaking. Red letters is coming out of Yahawashi's mouth personally. And we go to the NLT. No, I'm going to read the King James in verse 21. It says, for then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. And we go into NLT, it says, Matthew 24 and 21, for there will be greater anguish than at any time since the world began, and it will never be so great again. So this coming time, this is the last time it's going to be so horrific, especially for Israelites, man. Because the Lord said what? The punishment of thine iniquity is accomplished, O daughter of Zion. Now, O daughter of Edom, the cup shall pass through unto thee, and that cup going to pass through to these other nations. Deuteronomy 30 and 7, where the Lord said what? These curses that's on you, I'm going to put upon thine enemies. So all you other, you actual Gentiles, you actual heathens, the Lord going to put these curses on you. And then our kingdom is going to be established. Yahawashi is going to be back on the earth. And then a blessing is going to be upon the Israelites. That was supposed to be from the beginning. The promise, the covenant that what the BAHASHAM Yahawashi made with the children of Israel, the children of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. All right. And it's Matthew chapter 24, verse 22 in the NLT, and it says, in fact, unless that time of calamity is shortened, not a single person will survive, but it will be shortened for the sake of God's chosen ones. And who's that? The elect. That they don't speak about in the churches. They don't talk about there's elect. They make it seem like anybody got a shot. Everybody don't got a shot. You got to be the elect from jump. And that's why we said what? The hopeful elect. We hope we're part of the elect that the Lord has chosen from the beginning. The Lord's first fruits. The the ones that Yahawashi went on the cross for and died for. Their sins are what's the word? Forgiven. Their iniquity, the Lord will not impute iniquity on them. But the rest of the earth is going to get the judgment for their evil ways, and especially 2/3 of our people. Where was Oh yeah, so jump down to it. So this is a point. So this is the actual point that I want to bring out. So this is Matthew chapter 24, verse 34. I'm gonna read both. So this is King James. It says, matter of fact, no, I'm gonna read start verse 33. It says, so likewise, you know what? Yeah, so likewise, ye, when ye shall see all these things, know that it is near, even at the doors, which is what? The day of the Lord. The day of the Lord is near, and he said it's at the door. Now remember, this is a couple thousand years ago. So they asked him, he said, he laid out the things that's going to be happening, and then he said, when you see these things, by X, Y, and Z. So we go to the NLT, it says, Matthew 24 and 33, it says, in the same way, when you see all these things, so you see the wars, the threats of wars, rumors of wars, when you see the earthquakes in many parts of the world, when you see all these things, he says what? In the same way, when Matthew 24 and 33 in the NLT, it says, in the same way, when you see all these things, you can know his return is very near, right at the door. Right at the door. So Yahawashi's return is right at the door. Because we're seeing the wars and rumors of wars and the threats of wars. We're seeing earthquakes across multiple parts of the earth. We're seeing Esau being destroyed. We see Babylon the Great is falling. It is falling. We see how America's going down. Because this place was up at one point, but now it's going down. And it's never going to go up to where it once was. Because while we're at the end of it. And verse 34, this is the King James Version, it says, verily I say unto you, this generation shall not pass till all these things be fulfilled. So till all these things be fulfilled. All the things that Yahawashi mentioned, the wars, rumors of war, earthquakes across the earth, when you get persecuted, you get thrown into prison. How long do you think if all that's happening right now, that means the persecution is surely to come soon. But the Lord said, what? He that endureth unto the end shall be saved. So don't worry about what happens to you. Just know that the Lord knows where you're at. The Lord is putting you in this predicament. So the Lord very well will deliver you if that's how it's supposed to go for you. But it's not like go that for everyone, but understand that it could go that way for you. Yes, the Lord said it be some of you that shall not taste death. We don't know that you don't know your individual self. You don't know what shall befall you in the coming times, man. What we know, but the Lord said, what? Trust in me. Obviously, you're gonna know what you're gonna endure because He's putting you through it. All right. So in the NLT it says, I tell you the truth. This generation will not pass from the scene until all these things take place, and all these things are taking place right now. And that's why you have historically low birth rates in America and probably across the globe. They were talking about low birth rates in Japan. Birth rates in Japan. They were talking about low birth rates in Italy. And who knows where else? Who knows where else? People aren't having children like that because people like, why would you want to bring a child into this fucked up ass world and this fucked up ass kingdom? That's what you get, Esau. Yeah, and soon enough you ain't gonna have too many more slaves. And he told me he getting cute when he talking about $5,000 bonus for each baby you have. But then what the fuck is $5,000 supposed to do? Motherfuckers' rent might cost that much. And then ultimately too, what else is he bringing? The mark of the beast. That technology is already here, and the bringing out of it is right around the corner too. And that's what the prophets of YAHAWAH BAHASHAM are really waiting for, to really know that we're actually at the end. Because probably when that comes around, the persecution is going to be right in the midst of that. Because how we going to live? We can't get it. And we're preaching to the earth that you shouldn't get it if you don't want to be destroyed. Well, speaking to the Israelites. But you're going to have some heathen that don't get it either. Just like they with the jab. But the Lord don't care about the heathens. But like I said, He said He calls them all. So He's going to want everybody down with the program, Israelite or not. He wants full control of the earth. He's trying to be like the Most High. So He's going to have to catch the system to where He can monitor all the transactions. Because what? The money is still His God. The technology is still His God. And now He's intertwining the technology with the money. That's what Esau doing. But the Lord said, what? Yo, this is all to your destruction. And then you got people that always talk about what the day is, because I had some friends of mine that asked me, so what day is this supposed to happen? When is this supposed to happen? And I'm telling you what Yahawashi said as well. So he says, but of that, this is Matthew 24:36. But of that day and hour knoweth no man, no, not the angels of heaven, but my Father only. And we go into the NLT, it says, however, no one knows the day or hour when these things will happen, not even the angels in heaven or the Son Himself. Only the Father knows. So only the Father knows the exact day to when America is going to be completely destroyed. Only the Lord, Yahawah, the Heavenly Father, knows that exact hour. Yeah, we see the signs. We know it's close. He said no, it's close, but we don't know the exact specific day. But we know that day is approaching more and more, and each day that passes, we're getting closer to that day, that hour, and that instant, and that moment. It says, verse 37, it says, but as the days of Noah were, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. When we go to the NLT, it says, when the Son of Man returns, it will be like it was in Noah's day. Now, we all know what happened in Noah's day. We had a major flood that destroyed everyone except for Noah, his sons, and their wives, which were all the people on earth came from at this today. And everybody on the earth has an account of a flood happening, man. Because why? It's a part of everyone's history. Because everybody on the earth now came from from Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And everything in history aligns with it happening, that flood, and then afterwards. Because there's no doubt. Because of what? The Lord said what? In Genesis the 7th chapter, around the 22nd, 23rd verse, He said what? All substance and man including was destroyed. Everything from insects, birds, beasts, and man was destroyed on the earth, except for Noah and his son. So all substance, He said all substance. Matter of fact, if I don't need to get that. it says verse 38. So it says, for as in the days that were before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage until the day that Noah entered into the ark. So what? So in this present time, until the nukes come, people are going to be going about their regular life like nothing is happening, like everything is peachy. Especially here in America, these careless dwellers. Everybody in America dwelling so carelessly right now. Here it is. This whole war, they're getting ready for war as we speak right now. And some are already at war right now. All right? But you go to NLT, it says Matthew 24 and 38 in NLT, it says, in those days before the flood, then people were enjoying banquets and parties and weddings right up to the time Noah entered his boat. So that's what's going to happen. And what's going to be the new boat? Those chariots. When the electors deliver up out of this madness that's happening, when the electors stay enduring this too, because it's going to be before the actual deliverance, there's going to be things happening on the earth, so we're going to need to get delivered from. Remember, we have examples of in the scriptures. Brothers getting delivered out of prison, brothers getting delivered out of dangerous situations. We're going to come to men of the Lord, even as men of the Lord that the elect are going to come into some of them are going to come into very dangerous situations, very dire moments, very tribulation. The Lord said it's tribulation. But he said, well, be of good cheer, because what? When we go through these things, then we know it's definitely close. When the enemy shall come in like a flood, the enemy shall come in like a flood. The Lord will lift up a standard against him. We're going to need that divine intervention. We're going to need the sheer and pure power of YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI on our side. Because why? We're still not in the mortal flesh. We're going to need divine intervention from the heavens. And who is in charge of the heavens? YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI. All right? I'm going to read the NLT verse 39 of Matthew chapter 24. It says, people didn't realize that was going to happen until the flood came and swept them all away. That is the way it will be when the Son of Man comes. And what does the Son of Man come? What does YAHAWASHI come with? Fire. So everybody ain't going to really understand until the motherfuckers might be burning the fuck up. The ones that don't get taken out in Jacob trouble, the ones that don't get taken out in the famines, they're going to get burnt the fuck up, man. And he said, it says people didn't realize that was going to happen until the flood came. So that means they didn't realize to the very end when it was too late, which is the same thing that's going to happen on this side. They're going to see the missiles coming over here. They're going to see the elect getting delivered. And see they're not getting delivered. And be like, damn, them niggas was right. And they have to be reborn through the elect's loins. And then have the everlasting shame and contempt. And the heathen is like, you're going to die. And the heathens that's in the other countries, when we come back, we're going to take control of the earth. Fuck what Alexander did. We're going to talk about what YAHAWASHI did when he subdued the nations. What it's going? David ain't going to be able to hold up a candle to it. With David, because David subdued the nations, but he didn't do what? He didn't do still being a mortal man. YAHAWASHI said, what? I should not meet thee as a man. The Lord is coming with the pure power and fury and anger of the Heavenly Father embodied in him. That's what's coming to. That's the fire. He's going to flood the earth with fire this time. He said the first time was with water. This time, that was the covenant of the rainbow was what? He will not destroy the earth again with water. So the next time is going to be what? Fire. And the fire is brewing right now, and the fire is rising. The heavens are shining because why? They know they're about to come down here and do work. And the spirits of vengeance created. What it said? Their spirits created for vengeance to appease the wrath of him that made them. What do you think these angels are waiting to do? What do you think the spirit, what do you think YAHAWASHI is waiting to do? The one above the angels, the one right at the right hand of the Father, Yahweh. He's going to come back to the earth. Who the world entered to call Jesus Christ, he's going to come back to the earth, and he's not going to be what people think. Into the boat. So that was it on that. So hold up. Go back to that article. Let's see if there's anything else, any more gems in here. Okay, hold up. So it says working from home allows women with young children and pregnant women to stay in the labor force rather than lose their jobs, said Zhang, who was studying remote work and birth rates in the U.S., Sweden, Finland, and Denmark. Was what? Those are Edomite countries. So I mean, what these countries that this person was looking at could have low birth rates. Because a lot of Edomites, they said a lot of Edomites weren't having children like that. So it says the U.S. government validates those findings. A May 2025 report from the Government Accountability Office found that flexible hybrid work improves employees' ability to stay on the job and perform at high levels, especially when they have caregiving responsibilities. And that takes away what? That takes away the cost of child care. If a parent can work from home, the children are home, or whatever, then they go to school, or whatever the fuck is going on. So then they're going to usher in at what? Once the AI takes over more, they're going to usher in what? The universal basic income, because that was the same thing, the same kind of program we had during the C-19. The stimulus checks, where you were home, you could take, you didn't have to take your child to child care. There was no school. Everybody was home, and that was the ushering of what they really trying to do. But ultimately, it's going to be what the MOTB. So you really think about looking back at the C-19, it was a trial run for what's going on right now. Everybody working from home, you take care of your children, and then they have more babies. In turn, would mean what? They still have more slaves reproducing. Because what? Think about it. It's the perfect play. If the AI is taking over, see, they didn't equate the AI with this back then, right? So now you have AI in the equation, right? So if AI is in the equation, they talk about eliminating half of the entry-level white-collar jobs. So if it's doing that, Elon Musk will talk about, 80% of the workforce being gone within the next few years. The CEO of LinkedIn talk about, in the next few years, 9 to 5 is not going to be a thing. So when you count all of that, that's going to usher in what? The UBI, the Universal Basic Income, which means you're not working but still getting paid. See that? There we go. The stimulus checks was a trial run for what? With the universal basic income. No more working, but still getting paid. And still being under their control. And then be able to track everything you're doing. It says, yet many Republicans in Washington and some large companies are doubling down on insisting on a return to inflexible in-person work arrangements, even though women are far likelier than men to leave such workplaces by as much as 3-to-1 margin. See, a lot of Republicans are against it, so they don't want this. It says, when I put out a call out on social media asking people if their work arrangements has shaped their decisions to start or expand their family, my inbox was flooded with responses. Many were like Anna De La Cruz of Seattle, only after she quit a demanding job requiring international travel could she contemplate having a family she's always wanted. While on maternity leave with her first child, she decided to become an independent contractor so she could set her own schedule and work from home. And that's what Esau don't want. So if people are going to do this, they're going to say, what? Cut the jobs, have AI take everything. You still get paid, still have children, so we could still control you. That's it. Because they don't want you, they don't want you to, I don't want to say have your cake and eat it too, but Esau doesn't want you to be happy in a sense. They want you to be within the realms of being unhappy, but make it seem like you should be happy. But when as you see people genuinely feeling good and happy, because when a couple years ago, they did a survey on where people were happy for working from home, and they said they liked it better working from home, and their work productivity either got better or didn't change at all. So there was really no need to go back to the office. I know people that work from home, so there was no need to go work. You don't need to be in the office. People set up their computers, set their little office at their crib or whatever, and the shit still ran smoothly. Esau don't want that. Esau want, bring your ass outside, bring your ass to the office. Make it inconvenient, get stuck in traffic to come here. It said to get to work remotely in my field was game changer. It said De La Cruz, 46, now the mother of 3, who also cares for a mother and disabled brother. I could have more children because I was in that fortunate situation. I don't know how I could have done it otherwise. Is that the link between decent, flexible work and higher birth rates is a global phenomenon, with Norway and Germany as leading examples. A 2024 study of young people in Singapore found that just imagining having flexible jobs with more control over when and where they work boosted interest in starting families. They don't want you to have that much control of your life. So now they say, oh, we can't have this, so now we got to bring in the universal basic income. Now we got to bring in this AI, so we know people, ain't nobody working. So if you want to have families, you still got what? Be under our thumb. Yeah, you're not working no more, but you're still going to be under their control. But that's when the Lord going to step in, because ultimately they're going to bring in the market MOTB, and we're going to know that that's their end, because there's not much more room for Esau to rule anymore. The people are fed up. A lot of your skirt's been lifted up. Everybody's seen the lies you've been putting out there. Amalek has been exposed. And everybody's about to go to everybody getting their nukes ready. So that's it. That's it. We're coming. This how they gonna cause all to get that mark in them, man. That's it. So with that, Lord willing, is edifying. I'm gonna give all praises to Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM Kakadash. Double honors to the apostles of Israel, aka the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and love to all the Akim. Continue to preach the truth and all truth and sincerity. Shalom.